Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you can make it in this particular video. And in this one, I'm actually going to be showing you project breakdown of one of my exciting projects that I've done. And you must have seen the video right from the beginning, and that's the project breakdown we're going to be doing. And in this one, it's actually pretty exciting. I'm going to be showing you some techniques that I've not really shown in other videos. So make sure you do watch to the end so that you can able to gather all the information. And of course, if you enjoy the video, make sure you do click on the thumbs up button. And if you are new to my channel, about 60% of you watch my channel without subscribing. Come on, subscribe, right? And one other thing that's very important, this one is just the project breakdown. The full tutorial is actually going to come up soon. So if you are interested in knowing how I get to recreate the scene, so that is practically coming up pretty soon. So make sure you do subscribe so that I can get real-time notification for that. Don't forget, the project files will be in the link in the description. If you are getting it, you'll be supporting the channel. And that's it pretty much. And lastly, before I go, I do like bi-weekly live streams. So if you want to be part of that, let me know. Just put a comment in the comment section. Just drop a comment in the comment section, and I'll send you a link to my Discord server or Discord community so that you can always know when I do my live stream. Without taking so much of your time, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm gonna start with the first scene here, and let's see how this was done. So go to the comp and try and highlight all of this. Let me just do this. Okay, great. So this is what I have, right? So let's start soloing the element one at a time. So this is my background. It's just a simple solid background. Let me adjust this too. Right, it's just a simple solid background, and then I have my light color bond or light leaks basically, which I used to overlay with this. And I might not really show how this was done in this video, but I've covered it in my previous video. If you still want me to do full tutorial on how this can be done, just kindly let me know in the comment section. But this is what is the second thing that has been overlaid here. And then I have this. So this is the Krea logo. So this is what I have here. At the beginning, it's just a simple bouncy animation. So if I play this, so basically the way I was able to do this was using the scale animation and then using the elastic function from this motion tool, and to give you that bouncy animation. But of course, I needed to make sure that it moves to the side too as well, so that I can introduce the text. So let's check out the text. So let me just reveal everything to see what we are dealing with. All of this is actually the word introduction. So let me quickly update that. Yeah, so I've updated that. So this is what I have. So let us see one at a time what's going on here. So this is the first word introduction. Let me even check this so we can focus on the text. So this is the first word introduction. It's just a simple opacity animation. So if I press U, you can see that it's just a simple opacity animation, right? And I did that by using the text animator, and then I animated the stats from. So this is where it is. This is where it started from, but I needed to cut it off because of what I was trying to achieve. So this is it, and this is the ease that I use. So just a simple opacity animation with the text animator, and we notice this is where the opacity was at 0, and then I animated the stats from 0 to 100. So simple animation, and the reason why it's moving back is because I have a null control here. Hold on, let me press U, void one. Okay, so this is the null control here that it is attached to, right? So this scale animation, this void is a null, so that is attached to, so it's scaling it back as it's introducing itself. So that's why it's moving backward. Okay, so, and of course the void is attached to the null. So if you go to the next one, right, and what I did in this one was quite different. You can see that the text, right, they turn white in between. So if I solo this one, so what is happening here is I did exact same text animator. You can see I have two animator here. So I can see this one is opacity, and then this one is flicker, right, just to separate them. So if I open this opacity one, if I open this up, you can see it's the exact same animation from start, from 100 to, you can see that it's from 0 to 100, and then the second, and this opacity that I use, and then the second one is the flicker, which is more of a color. It's color animation, and then this time around I actually adjusted the, so you can see that this is there. So let me uncheck the deep glow, because there's deep glow on it as effect, right? And with that you can see that this is actually a white color text. So let me, for us to be able to see that well, let's do this. Maybe if I can do this, great. Maybe I can do intro color like this, so you guys can see. All right, so you can see that this particular one, the one with the white, I have the opacity, which is the same thing as the one under, and then I have the flicker. And what I did was to adjust the start, right, and adjust the end to fit into just one letter, and animated the offset. So the offset will just be going round about it. So that's how I was able to definitely achieve this, because as you can see, so that's what made the animation look that way. And basically what I did was just to duplicate this again, because I wanted it to keep recurring. Exactly, so that's what happened there. That's exactly what happened here. So if you wonder why it's only the white text that's the glow is affecting, because the glow affects bright colors, not really dark colors. So that's what is going on here. So if I can fit the screen here and then play this from the beginning, you can see. So it is this white one, because I needed to reinforce the movement to the right, and that is why that was done. And also I added a null. This null is just a normal null, nothing special about it. So this is the additional movement. It's moving. In short, this is the more of the, there's no position animation on this. Let me see. Yeah, there's no position animation on this. Let me undo that. So there's no position animation on this null, and all of this text, can you see, they are all attached to this null void one, and that's why they are going backward. And I have another null, so this one is not responsible for the positioning to go to the next scene. And if I check my graph editor here, this is what I have. Let me do, so this is the value graph, this is the speed graph here. So basically I just adjusted in a way that it will fit into what I really want to do. So that's it for the positioning one. If I like this and check this, you can see my graph editor trying to match cut into the next scene. So that's it for the scene one. It's actually quite simple. So now we're going to go straight into the second scene. Let me make sure that all of this are available. So we are done with the first scene, and then we're going to cut straight into the second scene, and this is the second scene here. So based on the direction or the art direction of this, that's how I was able to do this. So let's check it out. This has a whole lot more layers than you would expect. Let us start from the background up. So first is the background. I don't think I use this background. I have something else as the background. So this is the background actually. So I think these two we're not used. So just to be sure, yeah, those two we're not used. So this is the background, the plain background that you already know, the lightest color that you already know as well. And then what I have here next is this main UI background. So if I do this, so as you can see, the very thing that I have here is this background, main UI background. And what I did here is actually quite simple. I tried to use the rectangle, rounded rectangle, but I had a lot of challenge animating this adequately. So I changed it to a path, and that's how I was able to really nail this. So I animate to this point, then of course extend it to this point, and I changed this. So it's actually quite easy to animate path animation. So that's basically what I did here. And now I'm going to introduce the stroke. Yeah, the stroke is actually very subtle, but it's there. You can see the color. This is the color, so you can see that this is the stroke. And I have I duplicated the stroke, the same stroke, and I added deep glow. So I was experimenting with some effects. Let me just delete the ones that I didn't use. So I added first CC light. So let's uncheck this. So this is the glow. This is the stroke. There's absolutely nothing on it. So let me just delete all of this. And then I selected and duplicated the stroke. And this time around, I did my first is the CC light. And what that would do is to brighten some parts of the shape, definitely. And then because I know it's not really showing so much, I added deep glow to it, and that's how everything comes to life. And what I did here as well was to animate the direction. So if I press U, hold on, let me see. So the direction, so practically the direction is this, right? This is what is animating the light going back and forth. So I'm just going to delete this. So practically I just animated the direction to go right. Let me do Control Shift H so that it's not showing me all the details. So can you see how the light is going, right? Which is really, really interesting. If you check my curves, this is what I use. This is what I use. I didn't really do so much of ease. It was just quite a simple ease. And then that is how this was done. But also in my main UI, I also added, of course, there was a color, and of course I added drop shadow to give this effect at the bottom, just to give it some depth. And of course, you guys know that I animated the path because I needed it to move in some certain way, right? So that's how I was able to achieve this. Okay, so let's introduce some of the elements on top of this. This is where we now have some of the UI elements. So one thing I did was, if I highlight all of this and press U, you can see that we have simple position animation on them. They're just animating to the side, nothing much, just animating them to the side. And one other thing I did was to make sure that they are formatted into the main UI BG, so that it's going to be revealing within that. It's just quite simple. So that's basically what I did. And then at this point, because I want it to, I'm transitioning to the next scene, which I'm going to show you. Let me just do fit. So let me go back to this. And then if I move to this point, hold on. Okay, let me just, they're here actually. So let me just unhide this. So I thought I was transitioning to the next scene. So let me just reveal all of this. So at this point, I now have to split all the UI elements again, because when I was doing the position animation for everything, it was really, it was not easy for me to be able to control. So I needed to split the entire UI animation on this, right? So if you notice, let me bring back my handles for the home. Oh, let me start with the home. Where is the home? Yeah, for the home. So this is the home here. So this is for the home here. So there's a zoom effect here. So let me uncheck that first. So for the home, if I go to this point, you can see the home here as well. So this is where I split it. You can see this is now at the beginning. So this one is now going from here to this point. So if I press U here, so I now have like a scale, it's getting bigger, and of course animating the position as well to this point. So what I did here is actually quite simple, because I just want that transition when all the panel leaves here and then goes from here to here, right? And here the idea here is, because Krea, they're actually changing their user interface to a newer user interface, and that's what I'm trying to introduce here. So all of this represents the older interface, and then at this point, when all of this comes in here, you can see all the interface changed. So that's basically the idea. So that's what I was trying to convey in one point. So that's basically it. So basically, let me just solo this home so that you guys can see, and then let me salute this so that if I can show you one, you can get how the rest was done. So this is basically what I did. That's basically what I did. And then one other thing I did was to create a shape. So this shape is actually for this home, and the idea behind this is to create this echo movement, right? But I didn't use echo for this. I use Catomoblo, right? That's a script or plugin that I have, but you can actually use echo, right? Echo will give you the same result. It's just that this one gives me, I think it's way easier to use and more intuitive to use than Echo. So this is giving that echo effect. So to just show that drag basically. So for this one, I didn't even apply any animation. I just parented to this. So at the fastest, so let me see the graph editor for the position. So at the fastest here, you can see that it's going to drag in some more towards the end. So that's the whole idea. So at this point, when it comes here and this, so that's basically the idea of what I did there. So yeah, quite easy and quite simple. And that's practically what I did for the entire interface. Yeah, all of them squashing to the side, right? Of course, I offset them a little bit so that it will definitely make sense. And that's how this was done. And if I go to the next scene, so at this point when this is coming in, I already have my new user interface coming in, which we are going to get into pretty soon. But that's basically scene 2 in a nutshell. Alright, so I'm going to go to the next scene now, which is the actual scene 2. Apologize that I've mistaken the scenes, right? So this is the actual scene 2 now. Let's see what's going on. Because I transition from this scene here, you can see where the cut comes in. So this shows the transition from the old user interface to the new one, right? The first one was straight, and then these are like the icons. The other ones are more to the side and the icons have changed. So that's basically the idea. So let's go to this scene 2 now. For this, I made sure that at least from the beginning the background was not showing, because I wanted the transition from this scene to be really smooth. So I did a little bit of match cutting. Let me see, I think these are some of the things that I used to be able to okay, so this is the actual thing from the Figma file. So I'm just using as a reference on how this will be placed. So this is what I have here, and then this is what I have from the previous scene, just to make sure I match really well with what I'm about to do here. So if you see this, all of these are guides layer, by the way. So I just make sure I use this to help guide my animation on how this is going to transition. So I use all of this to guide myself and then make sure that all of this lands where it's supposed to land basically. So let's reveal what's going on here. So here is the main background. Let me solo this. Here is the main background that animates in, right? And I think you guys get the gist. So here, animate in. So this is the yellow background here. And then of course the main UI background. So that also animates in as well. You can see the opacity here. So just right about where I want this to come in, right? And of course the stroke, which all of this we've covered already, so I don't need to cover this again. But basically I was just animating the opacity to reveal them into this new scene. Basically that's like the idea here. And here I have all the new user interface. So let me just reveal all of this. Yeah, this way they are. So move to the sides. So I use guides a lot to just help me with making sure that things are aligned well. So basically this is what you will see here. And let's see how this were animated in. So if I take, let's say for instance, the home now, right, which is what I focused on. So let me just uncheck this. So basically the idea here is to animate it from the side. And if you remember that this is cutting from the previous transition, look at the home here, cutting from here to this. So it kind of makes sense that it matches really well. And the position animation is here. Of course you can see that it's match cut into this scene, and every other thing appears. The logo, everything appears on this. And of course, even though all of this has the same position animation, and I just offset them. So if I press U on all of this, I said that all of this were offset to the side. The only thing difference is the logo, which is the logo here. So let me drag this down a little bit. So I hope you guys can see this really well. So the only thing that I needed to introduce is the logo here, and then this hamburger icon. Every other thing is done, and all of these are PNG images, right? I just find it easier to work with PNG images than me converting to shapes and text sometimes. So right, so it gives me less headache. So basically same position animation, and then all of this were parented to the null one, this particular null. If I press U, you can see that this drags it back forward again, and of course to the hamburger as well here. All right, so that's how this was done. And yeah, we have the entire opacity coming on for this one to this point, and then here I introduced the rest of the UI elements, which is really important. All of this was from the website. All of these assets were provided by the client. I didn't create anything from scratch. So if I, for instance, this particular one, hold on, let me see, nodes. Yes, so this particular one, yeah, you can see it here, and you can see that it's coming in just simple position animation, nothing really. And practically that's what I did for the rest as well, apart from this null. Simple position animation, just comes in straight. And this is the graph editor that I use, right? So it's like they're revealing immediately. And of course I offset all of them to come in that way. So you can see that they're actually way more. So I just did it this way. And I actually used 3D at one point, this point here, but we'll get to that pretty soon. So all of this was done. So the null here, I think, was responsible for scaling in. Hold on, hold on. So I have more than one cameras actually. So I need to adjust this. So this, at this point here, we have the positioning here. So the camera here is being controlled by this null here. So I'll do this cam con, which is cam control basically. And this is what is responsible for making it closer to the screen and then goes back. So everything is on 3D, so you need to make sure everything is on 3D. So this particular one is making sure everything scales back down. And at this point I switched, and here is where you can actually do something really interesting. Instead of you duplicating your entire design, you can just switch camera. So this is the first camera here with the control, this is the second camera here with the control. So let me do cam con 2. And here, what I did is actually quite simple. I just switch it. So if this is without the second camera, this is the second camera. So this one from default, I've actually changed the rotation properties already. So I can rotate it anyhow I want. I can do whatever it is that I want here. So right from get-go, the rotation was already set because this is how I want it to review. So I just change the camera, and then this just spans up. So with the position animation just goes up, but without this camera, so that I can see things clearly, you can see that this just goes up and I have my mouse coming in and clicking, right? Really flat, nothing. This is my mouse cursor here, and my mouse cursor has a tinted blue drop shadow, right? And at this point when it is clicking, I added my scale animation so to show that click. Let me see, let me play this now to show that click, right? Yeah, exactly, to just show that click. And I use the elastic here so that to do some overshoots and bounce. This is without camera 2, but with camera 2 gives it a better perspective, and that is why it looks really interesting. And then from there we cut straight into the next scene. Yeah, so that's how this was really done. Yeah, if you want to know how I get to do this from scratch, just check out the full tutorial. Okay, so let's go straight to the next scene now. And all the scenes are actually quite simple. If I have to solo it from the background to this shape here and to all these details, they're already in the scene. The only reason why you cannot see them right now because it's attached to this null. So right get-go from this scene, you can see that it's basically the same tempo we've been having it. So let's examine what's going on here. If I solo this from the beginning to this point to this ones here, you can see that all these details are in the scene, but it's not showing, and that is because all of these are attached to a null. So if I do U here, you can see that at this point, you can see that all the details are actually here. And at this point, it is moving from right to left, not showing some of the details. So that is why all of this is here. But then this particular details, you can see it here. Of course, I had to do some masking because I had to carve out how it looks like on the website. So that's why you can see that mask, and then of course added drop shadow as well. Yeah, just simple positioning, click, all of this attached to this main control to move it left and right. And of course, as I'm doing that, I'm also controlling the mouse click as well. If I press U here, you can see where it is actually changing color. So basically what I was trying to do here is I changed the drop shadow color as this moving. So when it gets to this part, I don't want the drop shadow to be calling attention to itself, but focus on this main scene. So that's why the drop shadow animation was done, and then switched to black here. So it's just a subtle difference. Then at one point I also still change it back to the blue. It's loading when it gets to this white side. So that's how this was done in a nutshell. Yeah, so that's like the cursor animation. And then I think the main thing here is all of this were done. So let me solo these images. So let's start with the base one. The base one is just simple fast box blur, and I don't think there's no animation. Okay, there's an animation on it. It's just simple positioning, right? Introducing it basically. That's all I have there. Then the next thing here is the one with the gradient. So I'm just going to delete this one that I didn't use, and I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to press U because I did a mask animation on it. So you can see that it is revealing from the center up. So let me change this to normal first so you guys can see how it really looked. So the mask is from it being small reveal. Yeah, that's actually the way the mask is, but to still give you better view of that, let me uncheck these settings, uncheck the deep glow. So this is with the 4-color gradient. So this is how it looks like. This is how it's supposed to be normally, right? On top of the normal image. But then I added this effect deep glow to make it shine. And of course, I also added turbulence display to make it wobbly. So that's exactly what I did. And of course, I changed the blend mode to overlay, and that is what is really giving it this interesting look. And the one on top now, and this is just simple, the same mask. It's just simple mask revealing the main image on top, and that's how all of this was done. So that's like the main thing in the scene. Yes, I'm going to actually recreate this from scratch. If you're a member, you would have access to the full tutorial when it's out, so watch out for that. So here it is, and I just duplicated that a couple of times to form that. And of course, I attach all of this to the image control, which is this null. So if I press U, so this is what is responsible for dragging it up. Basically, this is the one responsible for dragging it up. And of course, I had to do different images as well. But when it gets to the one that I really want to focus on, which is this, and I think this is it here. If I double click this is the image, and I think I have a lot of things that I didn't use. So let me first of all change to fit to screen, take away the rollers, take away this, and adjust this. Right, so let me just take all of this and then delete, because I didn't use all of that. I want to focus on things that I use. Take all of this and delete. Okay, great. So this is what I have here. This is the image, right? So you want to see how this is done. So start from this main image, and then I have some of this. So all of this were actually done in Photoshop. I use AI to just generate some of these things, the background and some of the elements in the scene, right? So this is the main, well, I say the main car. Yes, so this is actually the car blended with the scene. And then one other thing I would like to do is that transition for it to move forward is what I now have here. And what I did was to duplicate this. Why is it not showing? Definitely duplicate this and added a fill color to it. So if I press U on this, you can see that opacity animation was done on it. All right, it's simple hold with simple hold keyframes. So that's basically what I did here, and just to have that flicker, right, and then expand it to be big. So if I press U on this, you can see the position and the scale was animated for it to be big. And then for the rest of this, when I move this forward and then introduce the car, so without this flashlight, so this is a learning point because I actually introduced flashlight for the transition. So without the flashlight, it will just change the car and the transition is not so smooth. But what I did here was to introduce something like this so that it will really sell the transition, so makes it more engaging, more interesting. So this just mean these are all the new cars here just being introduced here. And basically, yeah, that's basically how all of this was done. Yeah, so of course, as I was doing that, I make sure that the mouse click was neat. So this is the mouse click or cursor click. I don't want to see the drop shadow color now. You can see there are a lot of keyframes on this. Then let us focus on the drop shadow. Let us focus on the position and scale. So let me just press P for position and then scale. So basically, as this was moving here, and then I just use the mouse to simulate it scrolling up basically, and then dragging all of this. So basically, when I was doing the animation, I actually did everything here first, and then I was now using the mouse cursor to to follow through. It was quite easier for me that way. And then we can see this movement to the side, and that's because we have I also believe is this null. No, not this one. I think it's this null that is responsible for moving everything and just showcasing whatever it is that I need. And at this point, this is where I introduce more of the images as well. So if I solo this and solo this, so go back, nothing. So this is where I introduce the image. So yeah, so this image that I introduced. So as you can see here, you can see that this line is just a line that has this CC light sweep or around it, and that's what is giving that glow. I've actually showed you guys in the previous. It's just the same technique, and animated the direction so that the line can be going up and down basically. Of course, I added deep blue to it. Then this car, I think I added mask animation as well. Let me see. Okay, not really mask. So it's not a mask animation, it's actually a linear animation. So I added this linear animation. Let me take this off. I added this linear animation, right? Is what is responsible for revealing it. So without the stroke, so let's take away the stroke. So this is just a linear wipe transition, right? And I just match the stroke to go alongside with it. Now if I press U on here, press U here, so I try to match it as much as possible basically. So there was no expression or parenting going on here. I just try and match it, and that's what is going on here. So if I review this, so at this point, when this goes to this point here, and I change this to the blurry one, and I think it was in this comp here. So let me see here at this point, then I made it blurry towards the end. That's because I needed to introduce that. So if I press U here, you can see the fast blur animation applied here. But while doing that, I made sure that it's when this moved to the side, and then I can switch so that I can really sell the whole upscaling really well. And you can see the mouse animation or the cursor animation. I just match it. It's not, I didn't parent anything basically. I just make sure I match it with the line, and it really worked well, and it worked well with this. So that's how I was able to achieve this. And of course, attaching all of this to the null, then scooping back down to now reveal, to now scoop to the last thing. So that's how this thing was done. So let's see. Yeah, you can see that that's scaled in down to transition into this. And here it's actually quite simple, just simple text animation. Let me delete those ones that I didn't use. So I just solo this, it's just simple. If I click on this and press U, so these are just source animation. Let me uncheck this. These are just source animation that I change. It's quite easy. So if I want to keep changing this now, for instance, if I come here, I can come here and then let me zoom in a little bit and then change this W to, let's say, maybe I can change the font to, let's say, it's like a script. Maybe I can change it to this. Okay, that is not working. Maybe I can change it to this. Right, you can see that it's automatically set a keyframe. So that's basically the idea, right? If you use source animator, so I just use the source text animation here to do this. Of course, all of this was parented to this as well, and it's actually 3D. right? Just scaling a little bit, from out, all of them come in here, and then I have it transition into this. Very simple. While I have the color white background thing going on there. So that's basically it. I really hope you do enjoy that. If you do, kindly let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and then if you actually do something that is inspired by me, always tag me. I'm happy to see it, and of course, just give you some form of encouragement. Right. Of course, subscribe if you are new to my channel, like the video so that other people can get to see this. Don't forget the full the full tutorial basically is actually going to drop soon. So be on the lookout for that. Download the project files in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.